Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my 6th already, holy Q&A leading up to The Walking Dead Season 6. In this one, we're going to be leading off, we're going to be starting with the question, television series, who would win, current point, Evil Rick versus Daryl. Let's do it. Okay, so I want to say thank you guys. It's pretty amazing just the amount of questions, the amount of video suggestions I've been getting this year. It's definitely a lot more than it was last year and the year prior. It's really hard when you don't get any suggestions, you don't get any questions, you don't get anybody interested in seeing anything. And definitely, you guys are interested. You guys are definitely contributing, and I want to thank those of you who are sending me your questions, sending me your video suggestions, ideas, whatever. It's great. It's really, really great. It allows for me to do what I enjoy, which is to talk with you guys about Dead and just have some fun. So, going to be doing a channel updates video coming pretty soon, letting you guys know what's going to be up with the summer, what kind of my release schedule is going to be for videos this summer, let you know what you can expect. Going to be doing that probably within a day or two. So, let's do this one, Q&A number 6. Got some random questions, got this one right off the bat. So I did the top 10 toughest survivors, and the toughest slot to pick was the top 2, I would say for sure. The Michonne Carol one was tough for toughest female, and I went with Carol. But in terms of toughest overall survivor, Daryl versus Rick is a really tough question because Evil Rick is pretty goddamn badass. He really doesn't have a soft spot for almost anybody anymore. And this is a comparison between him and Daryl. Look at the way Daryl dealt with Noah when Carol was going to shoot him in the leg when he was getting away with their stuff. Daryl allowed him to get away. Would Rick have allowed him to get away with the python or something if he was stealing Rick's weapons, if he took Rick's machete or his Colt or something? Like, what would he do? Would he stop Carol from shooting? No. No, I don't think so. So he's a bit more ruthless than Daryl, I would say, Evil Rick at this point. And also willing to go to the extent that he has gone with the Peter Jesse situation. He's a bit more too far gone than Daryl is, I think. At least Daryl can, he can have spaghetti and all that. He beats up, well, he didn't really beat up Nicholas, but he tackles him down and everything. So this is a tough one, man. This is a really tough question because Rick is absolutely deadly with firearms, of course. Daryl is too, but out there in the open, 1 versus 1, who would win? Who's tougher? Man, really, really tough question. Really, really hard way to go. We've seen Rick do some crazy things throughout the series. We've seen him bite Joe's neck off. We've seen him run cops over. We've seen him execute guys. Just because they won't shut up or they won't stop. Gareth, another example. We've seen him chopping to bits with a machete. Pretty brutal against other survivors. He doesn't really take a lot of crap from other survivors. I think Daryl might take a little bit more. He's a little nicer to survivors, I want to say, than Rick. Unless Rick thinks that you're legit and you're safe and you can be trusted and everything. Then he'll treat you great. So that's actually maybe a feather in the cap of Rick, I would say. And of course, he's got the police training. He's been super tough over the seasons, and he is. Daryl, on the other hand, I think sometime between Season 3 and Season 4, somewhere around there, I think Daryl, of course, after the loss of Merle, but constantly going out on runs during the time skip with the prison, constantly being kind of the field leader, so to speak, of the group as they go out and they have to get stuff. Going into Season 5, of course, the tank, him versus Mitch. In that case, he didn't hold anything back. Shot him point blank right in the the chest where he shot him. With the arrow, brutal, man, and destroys the tank and everything. You got the zombie human shield. I loved it. That was awesome. So going into Season 5, all kinds of crazy stuff from both all throughout. At the end, at this time, start of Season 6, who's tougher between Daryl and Rick? Really tough call. Could see somebody going one way, could see somebody going the other way. I'm going to go with Daryl at this point, but it's a tough call. It's really tough. And the reason why is because I think his awareness out there in the zombie apocalypse world is a bit better than Rick's is. Not to say that Rick's is bad or anything. He's a tremendous survivor, and no, he's number 2 on my list. But I'm going to put Daryl at number 1 because, I think with the crossbow, he's so deadly. He's sneaky. He can track. He has a good sense of what's going on around him. And, man, his senses are top notch, and he's so practiced at it. He's maybe, if Rick's an expert level at that type of thing, Daryl would be a guru, I want to say, level. So yeah, man, he's just the toughest survivor, I think, so far in the series I think we've seen. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Daryl at number one. Daryl versus Rick. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Daryl, even though I could see why anybody would go the other way with Rick. Is extremely deadly and everything with with all the things he's done throughout the series so far. So that's what I'm saying. Anyway, let's move on. There's some other questions from you guys. First one is from Zasmanreviews. He says, hey man, have a video, make a video saying which premiere was better, The Walking Dead Season 5 or Game of Thrones Season 5. I've done a lot of videos in the past where I've compared The Walking Dead to Game of Thrones. I'm going to try to stay away from that this year. Maybe I'll do one after the season's done of which season I liked better. But I'll tell you, man, Game of Thrones is going to have to really bring it to be better than Season 5 of The Walking Dead. They're going to have to bring it hard, man. But Game of Thrones Season 4 versus The Walking Dead Season 4, I think Game of Thrones Season 4 might have been better, man. I really enjoyed Season 4, getting to see, Tyrion, everything they did with him, the battles all throughout, of course, Oberyn and, the finale of the children. That was a big season, man. That was the best season of Game of Thrones so far. So we'll see what they bring us Season 5. I'm excited. I'm filming this before I've seen the premiere yet. And, maybe I'll have room for one or two comparison videos this year. I just don't want to make too many because I've done them in the past a lot before, and people start getting angry at each other. People start swearing at each other, blah, blah, blah. Game of Thrones is better, blah, blah, blah. The Walking Dead's better. Breaking Bad's better than both of them. You get this kind of thing. So, but yeah, Game of Thrones right now is my second favorite show to watch, and it's great because it takes the sting off of The Walking Dead ending when we get Game of Thrones right after. Anybody who hasn't checked out Game of Thrones, you got some time on your hands. I'd highly suggest, if you're just looking for another show, check it out, man. It's incredible. But start from the beginning, and it's a slow burner. Get used to it for a little while. Don't judge it too quickly. That's what I would say. Next one's from Daniel Mart, and he says, for top 10 best looking males, get your girlfriend to help with that one. I don't know. Like I said before, and I've had a few people suggest, hey man, you did it for the females, you got to do it for the males, top 10 hottest males in The Walking Dead. I don't know how to respond to that. I mean, I guess we could do that if you guys really, some of you, some of the girls want to do that, bad enough. I recognize that I can't really break down, who's sexier, Rick or Daryl, Shane or, or Morgan or, it's just... It's kind of in that uncomfortable. I'm very comfortable with my sexuality, but it's still a bit in that uncomfortable territory for me. Anyway, so I'm going to put that one on pause for a while. I probably won't do that. I'd have to be pretty low on video suggestion ideas to do that. However, there's a lot of female viewers for The Walking Dead. There are. So it may make sense for them. It's just I don't know if I'm the right person to do it. maybe a female YouTuber that watches The Walking Dead could do that. Top 10 hottest guys of The Walking Dead. There you go. I'd be interested to see what she thinks. But, I don't think I'm the best person to make that one. Next one's from Patrick, and he says, do you think that Morgan could become Rick's new voice of reason? So Buddhist, I'm a ninja with a staff, Morgan, at this point. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what we're going to see. I think that Season 5 ends, and I think they plan this, with Rick being too far gone, with him being too far... the one way, knocking out Aaron and after Terminus, and you can understand why he would be, right? Because of what he's seen. But I do think that Morgan may have to try to bring him back a little bit, because he does have to cooperate with others too in that, right? And I feel like the situation with Peter, so you got Jesse and you help her out, but think about it from this way: you lose Reg and you lose Peter, and Peter's a surgeon. He might be a prick. Or you may not like him. He's not necessarily always a prick. Sometimes he's a little pricky, maybe when he's drinking, right? But he did say hi to Rick and stuff. So, that whole situation overall, now it may provide the rest of the survivors in Alexandria an example of why they need to toughen up, which is a good thing. But you do lose Reg, who's the architect, who's very useful to have, very smart, a planner, a thinker like Eugene, right? You lose his intelligence, which is a blow to your community, I think. And you lose Peter's skills as a surgeon. which is a very useful set of skills. Sure, you get Jesse, and Rick will have that. So he's kind of doing it. At that point, it feels to me more like a selfish gain rather than a community gain. But that said, it does show all the others that they need to toughen. They need to get their shit together. They need to toughen up. Yeah, they do. They need to toughen the hell up, right? So maybe it'll be positive in the long run anyway, and it will help Rick kind of take on more of a leadership role because they need him as a leader. Deanna's not. I don't think she's the right person for it. I think Rick is a better leader for survivors at this point in the series. So we'll see. Good will come from it, but at the same time, too, it may be beneficial for Rick to kind of be a little bit more reserved, at least with regards to characters within the community, right? So that's what we're saying. So I think that's what we're going to see. Next one's from Thalis95, and he says, I don't know whether you've heard this yet, but David Alpert, one of the Walking Dead show producers, was recently interviewed about the companion series, Fear of the Walking Dead. He said that there will be 6 seconds which references the original show in the pilot episode, but everything else will be original content. I thought you might want to speculate what that 6 seconds will be. Personally, I think it could be a news segment on the TV that one of the new show's main characters seen reporting on Rick Grimes being shot while on duty. This would also let the viewers know instantly where the new show is regarding its timeline. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you've got a good idea there. If that's true, I haven't double checked that. I'm taking your word for it, Thalis. So if that's true, then yeah, I think you're right. We'll see something like that. Now, I think they don't want it to be based on the success of the original series, but I do think they want us to realize that it's the same universe as the series. So you're right, they may put in little things, even though it won't be connected in terms of characters, swapping in each, unless you believe that rumor. There's an internet rumor about that. I don't personally believe that because Kirkman and the others said that it's not going to have any kind of characters, going in and between shows or anything like that. So I would say probably that they're probably going to let us know it's the same universe by giving us something like that, letting us know it's still dead, but it's a totally different spot, and it's a totally different set of characters and story than the original story, but yet it's still dead, right? So I think that's what they're going to do with that. I think that's what we're gonna see. Okay, so next question is from Joe Stuckey, and he has some great questions, man. Thanks, Joe, for all your support over the years. He says, "Hey, Trev, love your channel. When you said that Norman Reedus' statement about bringing Kleenex to the finale was misinformation, I don't think it was. I was crying in tears of joy that Morgan met up with Rick, and I was glad Norman told us to bring Kleenex. Keep up the fantastic work." Well, you're right. It was a touching moment. It was really touching. For me, more touching was when he actually handed Daryl, and he's smiling, he hands Daryl the map, and it says that on it. I thought that was really great. Didn't really make me cry or anything. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. Some deaths in The Walking Dead, when Laurie gets killed off, Rick's reaction, I cry at that, right? So strong men also cry. Remember, guys, remember. So I didn't. But I think it was misinfo, though, bro. I think so, because they've done it before with T-Dog. They've done it. They said he'd get a bigger part in season 3. Yeah, he got a bigger part, all right. They've done it with other characters. They've done it at other times. And Norman Reedus did telegraph Coda, and maybe they got mad about that, so they tried to let him know to, mislead. Like, put info out there to make us think something else. Because they know, I'm sure they know, how much buzz there is around the show online. Even like with what we do, doing predictions, stuff like that, doing videos talking about it prior, forums out there, sites, you got Spoil the Dead and all that, which I'm not too big into. You guys know my stance on that. I'm not, some spoilers are like, this time of the year I'm okay with it because it's like, they're not going to spoil anything that's going to come up, any big events or deaths or anything. But I don't necessarily, for this year, Noah and Aiden's death got spoiled for me, and it did ruin it. The episode would have been better. For me, as a viewing experience the first time, had I not have known that, it would have been a better episode. So that screwed me, right? That stuff I don't like to know. But I like to know spoilers, that summer before. Anyway, that's another topic. But there's a lot of buzz out there and stuff. And I do think that they post stuff out there to get us thinking the other way, and then they go the other way, right? So we can't be so trusting all the time. There was also Michael Cudlitz. He made a statement too, and that kind of stuff. We'd be pissed and all that. So yeah, I do think it was, But, maybe you're right, because Norman Reedus is he's a pretty emotional guy, right? It's funny how in real life, if you actually see his, his interviews and stuff and the way he behaves, he's not very much like Daryl. He's not. Daryl in the show's like all tough and Clint Eastwood, zombie apocalypse style. Earlier on, he used to be more mouthy. Now he's more kind of reserved and, kind of like, he's just tough, right? Tough guy. In real life, Norman Reedus is all, he's all, artsy fartsy and all that good stuff. So, so I don't know. It's funny though, right? It's funny though that he plays a tough guy in the series, and I'm sure he's tough in real life too. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure he can be tough, but he's very emotional. Hard on his chest kind of guy. One of those type of guys, and I think that's funny. To me, it's funny anyway. So maybe he did cry when he saw the finale. It was like so beautiful. I mean, it's life's work, right? Even Boondock Saints at this point, The Walking Dead. He was big. That was a big thing for him, but The Walking Dead just crushes that. I mean, come on, what he's done in The Walking Dead. He'll be, when he's 70, he could go to a Comic-Con and there'll still be people that'll be like, can you sign this for us? That kind of thing, right? Maybe not quite Stan Lee status, but you guys know what I'm saying, that there'll be some people at least, maybe like Adam West type. Okay, maybe not that big, but well, hey, who knows? Who knows how long The Walking Dead could last for? It's getting so many views. It's like 15 million, 16 million. So hey, who knows? But definitely in horror genre, it's about as big as you could probably get, to tell you the truth. I can't see it getting much bigger. We'll do one more. This one's from the Smoky Edition. And he says, Trev, did you know that Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad is going to be in a movie with Norman Reedus called 999? Its set release date is September this year. How great is it to see two of AMC's top badasses in a film together? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Keep up the good work. Yeah, brother, I am actually really excited to see that because, huge fan of Breaking Bad. If you guys weren't around for the channel, almost nobody was, to be honest. When Breaking Bad was on, I think I had like 30,000 subs or something. Hardly anybody, right? Or maybe 40, depending on what time frame. But yeah, man, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad. I Jesse, great character, man. Really funny bitch. So I'm excited to see him and Norman Reedus. I'm sure they'll have some kind of some one-liners or something like that. Aaron Paul's got to call somebody bitch in the movie, or even if he just says it out loud. That's going to be great. I'm excited for that. I want to see the Air movie too. I haven't seen much. There's a teaser for that. I haven't seen a trailer for 999. Is there a trailer yet? I'm going to search that after this video. Because yeah, man, I really want to see that because Norman Reedus and when I watch The Walking Dead, same thing with John Bernthal. After I see the characters so many times for so many seasons and the actors or actresses, I love to see them in other stuff. I love to see them successful in other things, and I'm just happy for them. That they're able to go out and do other stuff. After the series, like Emily Kinney, I think is she going to be in the Flash? Is that true? I'm not sure. I got to look into that more. But I don't watch the Flash week to week. But anytime they're in stuff, I'm excited for them and I'm happy for them, and I like to check it out. So definitely movies like that, 999, I will definitely check that out, and I'll do a review for it if you guys want to see that. Write in the comments below if you want to see a review for it. And yeah, I'll call it here for this Q&A. This was a fun one. Great questions from you guys. Continue to ask me these awesome questions. And yeah, of course, I'm going to try to continue as best I can with the daily dead videos as long as I can till I eventually run out of topics, which I will, and die, and then I'll come back as a zombie Trev zombie when we get more. Okay, so that's it for this one, guys. If you like the video, do me a solid. Do I even have to say it? Thumb it up below, share it on your Facebook if you have one, share tool below, favorite it if you wouldn't mind. If you're new and you want to subscribe and you've been kind of thinking about it or whatever, don't be a zombie. Well, okay, do be a zombie for all the heard subscribe, but don't be a zombie. Take action. Click the subscribe. Do it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for this one, guys. See you for the next one. Always the Trev saying peace. Later.
Yeah.